So last month we explored the growth theme, the soil, what we're watering, and even the last one that we did in April, I felt was so powerful, is what may be blocking our growth. Those are the things that we hopefully got a chance to let marinate and sink in, and that we spent some time with. Like things I feel like they come up for us when we're ready for them, when we invite them, when we allow these things. Things that we've been thinking about, wondering about, wanting about, all of those things. But I feel like when we're really, really, really ready, those kind of things can really stir up in us. And if we take the time to give it the attention that it deserves, then we can really find ourselves in some healthy, growthful environments and places and positions and situations because we've invited this in. So, as we think about that invitation for growth, I really want to ask you a deeper question in this. Who am I becoming through all of this? Yes, we're growing. Yes, we're exploring. Yes, we're curious. Yes, we're opening up some possibilities. And in this, though, the deeper question is, who am I becoming in all of this? Who am I becoming? Michelle Obama, one of my favorite first lady of all time, she coined that term even, and I think added popularity to that word becoming. So often we feel like we have to already be, or we don't get to be at all. But there's that in between time, which is the majority of our lives, where we have the opportunity, where we are, no matter what the pace, no matter what the cadence, no matter what the reason. We are becoming. The question is, are we becoming who we want to be? And the only difference in that is intention. So I want y'all to drop one word in the chat for me. When you hear this phrase, becoming her, what comes up for you? Drop it in the chat if you want to. Come off of mute. What comes up for you when you hear the phrase becoming her? Somebody put it in the chat for me. Some of you may feel like, I know for me, becoming her is really bringing about curiosity. But curiosity is one thing. There could be resistance. I definitely can say I have had my seasons, and resistance is naturally in us. What is resistance? That means we have an idea, we have a notion, we have a thought, we have even heard a word, or we've been nudged by Holy Spirit. So we know that something is there for us, but we resist. How does resistance look? Oh, it's not time. Oh, I have to wait for. Well, she didn't say it first, or he didn't do it the last time. It's the things that keep us from moving forward. Their excuses, their reasons, their situations, their circumstances. Mainly, there are things that we create to keep ourselves from moving forward. But when you hear the word becoming her, what comes up? Could it be hope? Could that spark some hope of becoming her, 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 that girl, that she, her? You know her. You know her. So what comes up at the possibility of becoming her. Maybe for some of you, feel like it's pressure. Oh my gosh, there's so much pressure. Well, don't think that because you know by now, this is a low pressure, no pressure zone. There is no requirement to do anything but be. Maybe some people spark a little bit of excitement though. Maybe becoming her feels like, okay, okay, I'm being her, but now I'm becoming her. So maybe there's some excitement there. Maybe there is some excitement there in becoming her. So let's tell the truth about it though. For some of us, for some women, becoming her sounds aspiring or inspiring. And for others, it may sound like OMG. OMG. It may sound like pressure. It may sound like comparison. Maybe even that kind of feeling of performative existence when um, there's a her that you have in mind, but that's not really who you are. So this idea that becoming her is becoming someone else or a version of someone that we admire, that we look up to, someone that we compare ourselves to. So it can start to feel a little out of body almost, a little unfamiliar, a little bit resistance. Because it may feel like, but just the concept, the ideology of becoming her means that there's this heavy lift to become someone that I'm not. So if we take that possibility and spread it out on the table, let's pick those up and discuss what that could look like if we reframed. So let me just say this now. This is not about becoming someone else. Who has time for that? Who wants to do that anymore? Maybe for some of us. This concept of having to have a certain persona to be considered professional, or to have a certain lifestyle to be considered successful, or to have a certain demeanor to be considered liked. This is not about becoming someone else. This conversation that we're having is really about becoming yourself more fully, deeply, unapologetically, intentionally. Becoming her is really, it allows us to do some introspection, to really think about who you have been up until this point. We put a little bit of growth serum on it in April, and now here we are in May saying who I've been. Then I put some growth serum in it, and then it's who am I becoming. Let's stick with the analogy. By the way, y'all, I am enjoying my garden. Well, okay, I gardened The garden isn't finished. But remember, I planted the herb garden, the mint, the cilantro, the ashwagandha, the lemon basil. I've been cooking with my mints. I've had ashwagandha tea. I've had lemon basil tea, mint tea. I've used some lemon basil for some kebabs I made for marinade. So remember, those started as small seedlings. I put them in a position to grow. And now they've become useful, enjoyable, pleasurable, and honestly peaceful for me because I just feel so proud every time I go out and pick my mint from my own backyard. That was a process. And that's the same as becoming the next version, the next iteration of the next season of her. So in that space, let's take the word her and put your own name. The woman you're becoming may not be a stranger. She just may simply be a version of you that has been in survival mode, get it done mode, achievement mode, get to retirement mode, get these kids out the house mode. Let me just go along to get along mode. So this woman, this opportunity for becoming her doesn't necessarily mean there's some whole different individual. There's no need for an identity switch, witness protection, and all of that good stuff. No, that's not necessary. She's just inside of you. She's inside of me. She's inside of us. And it's the version of us that we get to choose to become. So, and sometimes life teaches us. It teaches us how to survive. I know that for me to survive school and residency and surviving going into medicine and practicing and having a family and moving up the ladder and becoming a business person, an entrepreneur. Like all of these things, these are really versions of us that we spend a lot of time and effort and energy into becoming. But those things become really a part of who we are. But we put so much into it, it's almost like it becomes our identity. And so life teaches us how to survive by performing, by comparing, by pushing and struggling and what is it, scratching and surviving good times. It's like we let conditions shape us. The conditions that we're living under shapes who we become. And that's human nature, honestly. We think about those. I was at a conference actually this time last week. Um, and one of the keynote speakers talked about living in DC, and he was an excellent student, one of the best students in his class, very, very intelligent. But he was growing up in the streets in the 80s during the crack era and wasn't, his family was poor and he looking out for his mom and his brother. Felt like academics was the long road. It was going to take too long for him to have what he felt that he needed to take care of his family. Went to drugs, selling drugs, and ultimately ended up going to prison at the age of 16, coming out at the age of 38. And he spoke a lot about how his environment shaped his decision making when he was young, but he also talked about how the prison environment shaped his decision making for what he was going to do with his life after prison. And he has returned to society and is making quite a splash in the art industry, speaking, mentoring, advocacy. So sometimes our conditions shape who we become, but that doesn't necessarily have to shape who we stay. So sometimes those that need to be strong for everyone, the need to be productive and successful, and that looks like overworking and overextending and pleasing and excess volunteerism, being responsible, hyper independent. Some of those conditions shape us, and maybe that's cool for that season. Some of us has had to do what we have had to do. But when we come off of the heels of growth, what could be possible in becoming her? What could happen if we didn't have to be on this survival track anymore? What if that wasn't the assignment for this season? Who you are when you're no longer just trying to make it. Who are you? So so maybe we can look at it like this. Who is, and put your name in there, when I give myself permission to evolve? Who is Jada when I give myself permission to evolve? That's key. That is key. Put your name in there again. Write it down. This one is a good one. If you have your journals, if you have the ability to, I know some of you are not in a position to do so. Who am I when I give myself permission to evolve? And that is the becoming. It's the evolution. It's not the recreation. It's not the um, identity swap. It's not that. So her might be, just to make this simple, her might be, for example, more rested. That's possible without having to become a different person. Maybe her is becoming more honest. And I will tell you, like I know it, being honest, really, really honest about how we feel, about what's going on in our lives, about what's frustrating, about what we've been tolerating in our lives, in our relationships, in our homes, in our jobs, in our careers, in our families. Just for the record, until we are honest, deeply honest, without justification and rationalization, just being honest allows some space for evolution. Maybe becoming her means some boundaries, being more joyful. I don't even say courageous because it takes courage to be honest and to be more present. That may be this version of her that that you desire to call for. She's already there, and she just may be buried underneath the conditions that have shaped her. And you know by now, you should, that she does not have to be perfect. She she doesn't have to be perfect. She just has to be aligned, just aligned. My charger. Oh, energy saver. We should make it just to be aligned, just to be aligned. Because becoming her, whatever you wrote on there is what could I allow? So becoming her is not about adding more on your plate. It's not about having to do more, having to get more degrees, more certifications, volunteer more. It's not becoming her is not about adding more. That's the performative side that we've become accustomed to that validates who we are or who we want people to think about, or how we've shaped ourselves to believe about ourselves. So becoming her is not about adding more. And if that is coming up, that's natural. That's human nature, but it's not necessary. Sometimes it's simply just releasing things and letting go, not adding more, releasing more, letting go, letting go of things, letting go of habits, letting go of responsibilities, letting go of people and people's energy, letting go of responsibilities, letting go of excess. letting go of limiting beliefs, letting go of self-criticism, letting go of doubt, letting go of fear, letting go of worry, letting go of anxiety, letting go of control, or the ideology of control. I want you to say this. I want you to say this aloud. I do not have to force her. I just need to notice her. I don't need to force her. I just need to notice her. So as we sit and think about this and get quiet and still for just a moment, questions. Don't I always? It's just some things for reflection, just some things for noticing. Her. Who? Get your journals if you have them, if you can. Get your journals. Somebody can type it in the chat if you feel like it. Who have I been? Because I've had to be. Who have I been? Because I've had to be. Who might I be if I no longer had to operate in survival mode? Who might I be? And if I'm really, really honest, what feels really true about this woman, this version of who I am becoming? And let's be clear, this just hit me. Let's be clear, becoming happens. Becoming happens. It happens with or without you, so to speak. What do I mean by that? It happens anyway. It's happening. It's just who are you becoming unintentionally? Because, life is drifting you into who you're becoming. Think about like a log in a river that's just going down the river, drifting, drifting, drifting down the river. It's making its way somewhere. It came from somewhere and it's going somewhere. It doesn't have a say so. It's just going down the river wherever the river takes it. So that is how life is for us. We are becoming, whether you are intending to or not. So here's the thing here, it's intention. Because becoming unintentionally may take us to a place we don't necessarily want to be. And this is not, again, about controlling every outcome. It's about giving ourselves permission to live a life by design and not by default. That's it. Life by design. That's our intention. That's our noticing. That's our allowing to evolve. Um, yeah, I got thrown off a little bit, y'all. Look at my hoops. Um, so yeah, so it is a matter of us looking and being honest and being courageous in becoming. And some of us are right where we want to be in becoming. Maybe you're right where you want to be. How do you do more of that? How do we continue to make ourselves available for more becoming and evolution in the ways that are fulfilling, bring joy, excitement, and underscore our truest purpose? And just for the record, this is going to be too heavy for today, but listen, some of us have gotten our purpose intertwined and interchangeable with our career, with our titles, with our work. We think they're one and the same. That's for a different time. But if we really take a look at her without being too specific for each individual, this is just going to give us a broad stroke of her. The her that I desire is peaceful. The her that I desire is free. Free is a being. Free is free, 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 clear, bold, yet soft. So if we use that energy and not so much the performative notions that we can sometimes step into of becoming her means I want to be the head of X, Y, and Z, or I want to start my own business, or I want to create generational wealth. Those are nice goals. Nice goals. Nice goals. That's not the core of her. So as we go into our week as busy professionals, as high achievers, as high performers, as those who are used to moving and shaking and making things happen and holding it down and jamming on the one. Y'all remember that, jamming on the one. This week, I want you to know really that this week is about noticing. Nothing hardcore, nothing heavy, just noticing that I don't need to become her all at once. I don't need to do that. I don't need to feel that kind of pressure. It's not really even that deep. I think if we look at small concepts, if I were becoming her, whatever you, and I suggest you sit down with this week, every day, just as it comes to you, or maybe even this afternoon when you're free. Who would she look like? What would she do? Where would she be? Where would she go? What would she release? Her. And as we begin to conceptualize this, conceptualize, we can actualize. And so to simply put this week, rather than saying, oh, this is some big project, it's not. It's saying that version of her, what would she choose today? What would she choose today? What would she choose? Choose, intentional, choose, choice, deliberate, intentional. What would she choose today? What would she choose in this situation? What would she choose in this circumstance? What would she choose if she were advocating for her next iteration of what she desires for her life? What would she choose today? It even be in her health. She's becoming healthier. She's becoming more lean. She's becoming more fit. She's becoming more, all whatever. What would she choose today? What would she choose? Would she choose a walk over completing some more emails? Would she choose a healthy meal over fast food? Would she choose more rest over trying to get ahead? Would she choose to speak up instead of letting her true thoughts and feelings be ignored or stepped over? Would she choose to would she choose to just be instead of saying yes? Would she choose to say no instead of saying no to herself again? Would she say yes? Would she trust herself? Would she trust herself? So she is built in small, honest choices. That's what becoming her. So it's really kind of like the process. Honest, honest. So this week, don't pressure yourself to go figure all these things out. If anything, just notice her. Just notice her. And as you go through the week, you may even decide to ask, where does she feel aligned or not? Where do things feel old and played out? Hmm. Maybe we can even ask is, what is a lie? What is simply not true that she's been holding on to want it to be true, but it's not. And what is true? There's some work here, head. if you choose. But it's not really work. Good stuff. It's good stuff. So as we wrap up, 2 minutes over, the take home here is that I'm not becoming someone else. That's not it. That's not it. I'm just becoming more fully becoming myself. Fully becoming myself. So let's take an inhale in and an exhale out. As we close out, I don't know if I can get the song on or not. I was working on two computers, but I want you to acknowledge her, first of all, for just being here today and bring her back next week on Monday, same time, same place. And feel free to invite someone with you. Send them the link, invite them in, and let's grow our community. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Happy becoming. That is it for today. How y'all feeling? Y'all quiet today. Y'all stayed up too late for Mother's Day. Y'all quiet today. What's the deal?
Feeling good. This was great as usual. Thank you, Dr. Jada.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Becoming her.